old and a detective with the Houston Police Department, and she'd been a 19-year-old trying to escape the clutches of an abusive fiancé by the name of Tyrone Whitman. After she had broken off their engagement, Tyrone had refused to get out of her life, to leave her alone. He had stalked her for months before he'd finally caught her alone in her apartment, and for 3 hours he had held a gun to her head, threatening to blow her brains out. While the SWAT team had been trying to talk Tyrone into surrendering, Darius had broken into the apartment by coming through a bathroom window. He'd apprehended Tyrone and saved her. That night, Darius Franklin had become her knight in shining armor. He was the same man who had stopped by her apartment the next day to repair the window, and the same man who, after learning that a not-too-smart judge had posted bail for Tyrone, made it his business to become her protector until the trial. After that, he was the same man who she began seeing on a daily basis, who would drop by when his shift changed to spend time with her, to show her how special he thought she was. The same man who, during that time, for one night, had been her lover. "So, you went to college and got your degree?" he asked, and for a split second she could have sworn she detected a degree of admiration in his voice, but the look in his hard gaze told her she'd been wrong. "Yes, I got my degree," she responded, proud of her accomplishment and quickly remembering he was one of the few people who'd encouraged her to do so, and convinced her that she could. He had made her believe in herself, and a part of her had believed in them, in a future together. He had proven her wrong. "Congratulations." "Thank you," she said briskly, putting aside the document she had been reading. "So why are you here, Darius? Although we've established the fact that we're both living in Somerset, I'm sure this town is big enough for the both of us. What brings you to Helping Hands?" "I'm here to install the security system, as well as the billing account for the shelter," he said, as if that explained everything. She nodded. "I was told the Texas Cattlemen's Club would be sending someone over to do those things," she said, finding it hard to concentrate. She had heard a lot about the Texas Cattlemen's Club, a group of men who considered themselves the protectors of Texas, and whose members consisted of the wealthiest men in Texas, mostly from old money. The TCC was known to help a number of worthy causes in the community, and Helping Hands, a newly opened women's shelter located in the small, impoverished section of wealthy Maverick County, was one of them. They provided all the shelter's funding. Summer had interviewed for the position at the shelter, and once she had been offered the job, had decided it would be a good way to have a fresh start. She had made the move from Austin, where she had been living for the past 6 years. "How did you get the job?" she couldn't help but ask. He shrugged. "I own a security company." She raised a brow, surprised he had gotten out of law enforcement. He'd made a good police detective, and she'd figured it would be his career. "How long have you been living in Somerset?" she asked. "Around 6 years." It was the same amount of time she had lived in Austin. He had moved here a year after they had broken up. She quickly recalled that they really hadn't broken up since they had never truly been together, at least not like she'd assumed they had. "If you're through with your interrogation, I'd like to get to work," he said. "Fine, I'll get out of your way if you need to work in here for a while," she said, getting up from her desk. Seeing him again after all this time was just a bit too much. Bittersweet memories were trying to invade her brain, and she was determined to fight them back. "If you need anything, just let the shelter's secretary, Marcy Dillard, know. I'll use this time to go to lunch." She grabbed her purse out of her desk drawer and quickly moved past him toward the door. "Summer." She paused just before reaching the door and turned around. "Yes?" He still had a hard look in his eyes. "I would say welcome to town, but I wouldn't mean it." She narrowed her gaze. "Then I guess that means we'll have to learn to tolerate each other, doesn't it?" Without waiting for him to respond, she turned and continued walking out the door. Darius leaned back against the desk and watched Summer until she was no longer in sight. It was only then that he made an attempt to begin breathing normally again. But it was hard, because although he couldn't see her, he still managed to feel her presence. 7 years was a long time, yet today